over. Well, living on the lam cannot possibly be easy. James Wronko, this is a pretty intriguing flight story. She actually gets out of the country. She gets to Mexico. I mean, you know how many people have tried to get to Mexico?
A lot more than try to come this way.
That's right, and then she comes back. I mean, is that like, I don't know, sometimes I always go back to, I start going back to Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment. Are there people who really want to be caught, or did she somehow think if she fooled them in Phoenix, she could fool them again?
I think she was given a false sense of security in Phoenix. I mean, the officers were there, they came back 2 times, they talked to her, they mentioned apparently the murder in Las Vegas, so she knew why they were talking to her, and they left. So she figured, if I can get away with them, maybe I can get away with it again. Or maybe life in Mexico was such that she'd rather take her chances in Massachusetts.
Or maybe she fell for that guy.
Maybe.
You know? It's interesting. I've had a couple of very serious flight issues in cases that I've defended, and I have found that you can make it work for you if you do it right. I mean, but in this case, they have come up with a theory, which may be the theory that's what the client tells you happened, and she says, I was afraid that if I went back to Las Vegas, I would be killed, that the people who killed my husband were going to kill me. Well, the people, you really have to point your finger directly at those people. I think it can't be some mythical group of people. And that's a big order for the defense.
Well, they're going to suggest it to trustees and other business partners, but it's one thing, when you want to point a finger at somebody, you better have at least something to prove it, or at least demonstrate there's a reasonable chance that it's likely. And also the other thing to consider is she was apparently in Las Vegas for a significant period of time after the murder of her husband, and she didn't go. So if organized crime is after him and she's next, you don't wait around 2 or 3 years to wait for him to come. You're gone immediately. So
well, that's an interesting question of itself, actually, that people really haven't been raising, about how long it was before she actually fled. But of course, at that particular time, she's embroiled in this litigation concerning the estate. And I suppose it's possible, but again, who's going to explain it except Margaret Rudin? It's possible during that period of time that she didn't really think she was in danger, but that something else happened that made her think she was in danger, but we don't know what that something else was.
And if there was something else, there's only one person who can tell us. And if she gets on that witness stand and she can't tell that jury in a convincing fashion what it was that made her run, she's convicted on the spot. Because now the jury's going to conclude that she lied to them. And they go back in the jury room, there's no sympathy for someone who lied to you. She didn't lie to a police officer in Arizona. She didn't lie to someone in Mexico or Massachusetts. She lied to us, the jury. And the jury concludes that you're done.
Well, also, when the judge concludes that, you're done as well. I mean,
but he's not at least deciding guilt or innocence.
True enough, true enough.
Luckily for her.
Well, that's right. No, that's exactly right in this particular case, no doubt about it. We're going to